Kateri.
I'm Rachel.
Patience is not a virtue.
It is in fact a fruit of the Holy Spirit.
A virtue is the habit of doing good.
The fruits of the Spirit, according to the Catechism, are perfections that the Holy Spirit forms in us as the first fruits of eternal glory.
Charity, joy, peace, patience, kindness, self-control, blah 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 blah,
Etc.
etc.
So, now you know, and next time someone reminds you,
Patience is a virtue.
you could obnoxiously correct them, no, which is a fruit of the Holy Spirit.
So, now that we have that cleared up, let's talk about something that is a virtue. Humility. And if you want a saint who is a perfect example of humility, look no further than... me! No. I was gonna say Saint Therese of Lisieux, Saint Therese the Little Flower, Saint Therese of the Child Jesus, whose feast day is in fact October 1st.
I hope you celebrated.
I know a lot of us grew up with stories of Saint Therese, but I want to really encourage you to look at how her life can affect your life personally.
We have two stories for you today, paired with two riveting, reflecting questions for you to go deeper.
Our first story occurs after Saint Therese entered the convent. There was one nun in the convent who just annoyed her. So Saint Therese specifically prayed that she would be able to see this nun through the eyes of Christ. She prayed, "Let me love her the way that you do."
And her prayers were answered. Once the nun even commented, "I don't know what it is that makes you like me so much." Saint Therese was always smiling around this nun now because she saw her through Christ's eyes.
What about you? When you hear this story, who comes to mind?
Is it time to ask Jesus to be able to see them through his eyes?
And now we want to talk about Saint Therese, why she was called the Little Flower. Saint Therese really admired Saint Joan of Arc for her heroic virtue and courage. At one point in her life, Saint Therese wanted to do big things for God the way that Saint Joan of Arc did.
I mean, Saint Joan had saints appear to her and tell her to lead a freaking army. And then she was burned at the stake. Crazy big things for God.
However, Saint Therese was then inspired with the little way of holiness. She described great saints such as Saint Joan of Arc as roses in God's garden, but then she described herself as a little flower.
She wrote, "The splendor of the rose and the whiteness of the lily do not rob the violet of its scent, nor the daisy of its simple charm. If every tiny flower wanted to be a rose, spring would lose its loveliness."
Have you ever prayed about the beauty of being God's little flower? Be like his little child.
Like Saint Therese said, "Be not afraid to tell Jesus that you love him, even if it be without feeling. This is the way to oblige him to help you, and to carry you like a little child's too feeble to walk."
So, go read Saint Therese of Lisieux's Story of a Soul. Your spiritual life will go phew.
Go give a rose to a girl who you would think would make an awesome religious sister.
Go tell your life story to a random stranger.
And be holy,
because,
as Saint Therese of Lisieux said,
holiness consists simply in doing God's will and being just what he wants us to be.
wow,
Yeah,
first
I know.
try.
Yeah. Except not really, just first documented try.